What will your best advice be to someone who has failed over and over again and has given up or is at the point of giving up?
Keep failing. Because every time you fail, you learn. I mean, sometimes I think, I always tell people.
Life is a marathon. Slow and steady wins the race. Welcome to another inspiring episode of Podcast with SHEILA, the podcast that is spreading positivity around the world by sharing inspiring life experiences. Today's guest, Dennis McCURDY, is an author, speaker, businessman, real estate investor, and financial advisor. A small town boy who sucked it up and found a way without role models, mentors, and education. He succeeded on the Learn As You Go plan, and today we are discussing his beautiful life journey and all that it took to get to where he is today. Hello, Dennis, and welcome to Podcast with SHEILA.
Hey, SHEILA, how you doing? How's the weather over there?
I'm doing great. Very, very cold. I think today the highest we're going to have today is 6 degrees Celsius. So it's been icy since morning, and it's very cold out there.
Kind of like us.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
So let's get on with it. Let's start from your life as a child. What was it like, and what were some of the great childhood memories you can share with us?
Well, that's probably not a great place to start. I mean, I had 4 brothers, so we had a lot of fun together as brothers. We played baseball. I mean, we were, the typical back in those days. We were outside all the time. Hint, hint, kids, get outside. We had fun. We were, the old thing of come in when the street lights go on. You better get your butt in here. Unfortunately, my father was an alcoholic. I mean, a brutal alcoholic. So there weren't a lot of fun things with him. But as the young boys, we had a great time. We we played baseball, basketball, football, swam, rode our bikes. We did. It was kind of like the typical country boys.
Great.
So that was great.
Yeah. As every successful person has a story to share, what would yours be?
A special story?
A successful story.
A successful story. Well, here's what happened. I mean, I graduated from high school, 140 students, 8th in my class, from the bottom.
Okay.
So I was, I think they passed me just to get rid of me. My senior year, I missed 35 days of school, was suspended twice.
Oh.
So, not a bad kid, just a little rowdy. And from there, I went in the military, went off to Vietnam, came back, was going to go to college. I went 1 semester, and I had a couple friends that were starting a real estate and insurance business. I was 23. And it was like, bye-bye books, hello buildings. I was going to be a real estate tycoon, you know?
Yeah.
So I quit school and started selling real estate, and then that didn't work out. We were in a recession, like I like to tell people. I didn't even know what a recession was. I was 24 years old at that time, so I started driving a canteen truck, selling coffee and donuts at work construction sites, and tended bar at night, so I was getting minimum wage. But I was saving a lot of money because I worked like 70, 80 hours a week. So, hey, you're young, you can do that, right?
Yeah.
You know that at the turn of the 19th century in America, the average person worked 2,600 hours a year. Today they work 1,400.
1,400?
So there's plenty of room in there for some growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what happened then is... when I was driving the canteen truck, I decided I was going to get my insurance license and start an insurance business. I was going to start on my mother's porch, her sun porch, but I didn't even tell her I was going to do that. In fact, I realized about 30 years later, there was not even a door to that porch. So I can imagine people coming through my parents' living room, hi, how are you? I'm here to get insurance. But I ended up taking over the business of one of my former guys that I work with, bought another agency that same year. For just luck, so opportunity came, and I think that's one of the important things is when opportunity comes, you've got to say yes.
Yeah.
Too often we get afraid, SHEILA, and you just got to do it.
Yeah.
And every opportunity is a learning experience, whether it works out well or not.
Yeah, it is.
So,
wow.
If I hadn't failed in the real estate business the first time, I never would have started the insurance business. And then later on, I did start my own real estate company. I had 20 brokers working for me at that time. So.
Oh, wow. Very impressive. So what were some of the lessons you learned as you were on this journey?
Well, number one, you've got to say yes. And that means taking action. And that, I think people too often have these thoughts or dreams or goals, but they just never take action.
Yeah.
They never take that first step.
Yeah.
You know, it's a quote that I have in my book, which I've always loved. It was by Martin Luther King Jr. And it said, "You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step."
Yeah, I've seen that quote though.
Yeah, very powerful.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
And I think the next most important thing, which is crucial, and I call it, who's in your gang? Because we all have gangs.
Yeah.
I call a gang a goal-achieving, nudging group. So goal-achieving, nudging group. People are going to have goals. They're trying to achieve those goals. They're going to nudge you when you start slacking.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's a group. So it's a group of people that get together and work on things together. Not necessarily together, but at least encouraging. Like, it's accountability. I think, you know, SHEILA, accountability is probably the biggest thing we all need.
It is. So the kind of group you keep, in essence, the kind of group you keep can either influence your life positively or negatively, can impact your life. Exactly. Wow.
Absolutely. Your environment, where your group, it's absolutely crucial for all of your habits and everything else you do. And especially as you're going off, like you're doing your podcast and you're on your own, when you're on your own boss, it can be dangerous sometimes. Because there's nobody to say, "Hey, to go do this."
Yeah.
You got to do it yourself.
You got to do it yourself. You find yourself having to do too many things at the same time, and sometimes what I realize is you get stressed, and you don't get to achieve much or produce with quality, if I should say. But then I also think that it depends on how you spread your activities for the day, and then you'll be able to achieve everything with quality as you have always wanted to go with, if you do it well. But like you said, it can get very tiring, very tedious, frustrating, and all of that if you don't do it well.
Right. And that's where we all need support. I mean, we're human beings, you know, we all need support.
Exactly.
And I think sometimes we forget that. And that's where having the right gang is crucial.
That's so true. Without any formal education, you have written 3 books, you have 250 blogs, and hosted several personal development workshops. How have you done this?
I just did it. You know, it's I've always said I'm on the Learn As You Go program. You know, so you have to take action. You have to just start, and that's really key, is starting. Because there was a time, you know, when I didn't know how to ride a bicycle. I didn't know how to walk. I didn't know how to read. But I don't even think about those things anymore.
Exactly.
So you just have to do that. And no matter what, if you want to be, I was doing some stand-up comedy up until COVID hit. And the thing is that you go to a comedy club that's doing open mic, and you just start, you know, and if you suck, you learn. And that's the big thing. People don't want to suck, so they don't learn.
They don't learn. I think I resonate with you on that level. So many times, when I came out of school, as I've said it too many times now, I'm beginning to sound like a broken record. But when I came out of uni and I couldn't find a job, and I wanted to do my own business, and my mom especially, my parents were kind of going, you don't take the tough road, just go easy, find yourself working for somebody, learn the ropes. But I couldn't get it. Even with my high grades. I still couldn't get it, because what I kept hearing was, we don't hire first class students, and their reason was first class students always want to further their education, so the company spends their money and their resources to train you, and then you don't even work for them for that long and you leave, so they don't like to take first class students. So even when I graduated as a first class student, I was so excited. I came out frustrated because I couldn't find a job. So I decided to do my own things. At a point, my parents had to give in and say, okay, go that way and then we'll support you. So my mom funded my little project, which was a fashion magazine I'd come out with. I first got a contract with a fabric company in Ghana, and I designed their billboard, and it was up for 2 years. And that was good money. Then my mom gave me money to start my own fashion magazine. And I came out with my first edition. I had all the support. I think I was the first person in the family as a child to start a business. So everybody was rallying behind me, and it was good. So I came out with my first edition, launched it, and wanted to immediately come out with my second edition because I had the money for it. So what I did was to give my first edition to marketers to market it for me, and they didn't do it. I think they just went to dump it somewhere, made my magazines collect dust, and then after 2 months came to me and said, oh, we weren't able to market it. We took it round into the market and people wouldn't take it. So what I had said to myself at that time was I was going to take it upon myself and then go by do it yourself. So every time I'll say do it yourself, whatever I wanted to learn, whatever I wanted to do, I had to learn it to do it myself. I had to learn to do graphics. I had to learn to market. I had to learn to do so many things until date. Sometimes when I look back, I can do so many things without having to employ anybody to do anything for me. I've never learned.
Charge of your life.
I've never learned how to design a website, but I do my own website, and I do it very well. I do so many things on my own, and it's come in really handy. So money I will spend out somewhere stays in my pocket, and in the end I don't get to spend that much. So and
then too, if you hire somebody, you know what they have to do, so they can't say, oh, it takes this long. No, you know what it takes. Exactly. So you can tell them what you expect from them. And I think you only become, there's something they say that you become the best version of yourself when you tend to do things for yourself. Right, absolutely.
So you don't you don't always rely on somebody to do something for you, but you take the initiative to do it yourself. It's responsibility. It is. And if everybody, I even get upset, they're probably going to get booed for this, but even with charities and things like that, unless somebody has a situation where, like, you have a hurricane or a tornado or something unexpected, it's all about responsibility. It is. And if every person just took responsibility for their own life, we wouldn't have to worry about all this other stuff. Exactly. So I totally agree with you, and I think your story is so inspiring for you to have learned as you went along, and you did good out of it, because your achievement is so huge, because you bought and owned 29 pieces of real estate, as well as owned several businesses from your background as a child. And how does it make you feel now? I don't even actually even think about it. I just think, what am I going to do next? Wow. I'm working on my 4th book right now, which is about mastermind groups and how to start a mastermind group. In fact, anybody listening who wants to have, I have 10 tips on how to start your own mastermind group or accountability group. If they want that, they can email you or email me, and I'll be happy to send it to them, because I think that's powerful. I just think for people, I think for me and being an entrepreneur, I'm always thinking about the next thing as well, because what happens is when you get into, when you've been in business a long time, you get into what they call the messy middle, or I call it the valley of dead dreams, where the work is there, maybe you know how to do it, or it's boring. So you, as an entrepreneur, you can always do a little something on the side. So for example, years ago, my real estate business was a side business for my insurance business. And then when I got rid of that, I became a certified financial planner, and that became my side business. And now that business has grown to where it's its own elephant, so to speak. And so,
And so now I'm adding people in that division now, and we're looking to grow some more. I like what Dan Sullivan said. You know, Dan Sullivan is a world-renowned business coach. He was 72 years old, and he says, I'm working on my 25-year plan.
Wow.
So I'm working on my 25-year plan.
Whoa. I like that. I like that. What will your best advice be to someone who has failed over and over again and has given up or is at the point of giving up?
Keep failing. Because every time you fail, you learn. I mean, sometimes I think, I always tell people, I think you remember the question you got wrong on the test more than you remember the ones you got right.
That's so true.
Yes.
That's so true.
And so every time you fail, you're actually building more value in yourself. When I was in the real estate business, first off, I learned about building, I learned about real estate, I learned about contracts, and I failed.
Yeah.
Because it was a recession.
Yeah.
All that stuff has carried me through. I just sat with a gentleman yesterday who's got a nonprofit, and he helps young kids learn about robotics and stuff. And he wanted to come in and talk to me about, he wants to buy a building for the nonprofit. So I worked through the whole thing with him. All those failures gave me all that knowledge to be able to help him.
Yeah.
And so keep doing it. I'll tell you a quick story.
Yeah.
One of the houses I bought, probably number 18 or 19, was I was at a party with somebody, that people I just met. It was just an afternoon Sunday, everybody's having a beer talking. They started talking about this house that had a fire in it that was 4 houses down from where we were sitting. And a year earlier, the man had used a space heater, caused a fire, got his insurance check, put the key in the door, and left. It was a total loss house. And it sat there, and they kept saying, well, this guy should buy it because he owns all the land around it. Somebody should do this. Somebody should do that. It sat there for a year. I just found out about it on that Sunday. 4 days later, I had a deposit on the house. I rehabbed the house. Moved in. I was October, so I moved in February. I lived there for about 10 years. I sold it for $225,000. I think I paid $12,000 for the house.
Wow.
So, but they sat there. They all knew it was there.
Yeah.
And and that's the secret. It's all there. We go by more opportunities every day on our way to work than we ever take.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. Sometimes you see it, but you need somebody or you need the light bulb experience, should I say, and most people don't get it. It's only a few people with that eye, who can see it and, that's an opportunity and go for it. So, wow. That's
where your goal buddy or your accountability partner or your gang is important, because they can go, hey, wait a second, you're telling me the same stuff again. Get off your butt.
Yeah.
Go do it. You know? Yeah. And I'll tell you that my first really successful mastermind group ended up just being 2 people, because we found a bunch of people who didn't want to. They say they want to do it and they don't do it.
Yeah.
But we worked together for 7 years. That's how I wrote my first book. And we met every single month. We set goals. You had to come back the next month. Your goals had to be completed. And what we did before we left our monthly meeting is we wrote the other person a check for $500, post-dated 30 days. So when you came back with for your goals, if they weren't done, the person got to cash the check.
Wow.
Yeah, so that gets you serious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But if you want to be serious, that's what you're going to do. And you know what? In 7 years, no one ever had to cash a check. So we got it done.
Great. Why do you say success isn't magic or rocket science?
It's not. It's simple. I mean, even if you're you don't have an education, or if you didn't do well, say in school, you have all these beliefs. It's a matter of just going out there, and even if you don't have a lot of, in a way, potential, even if you just work a little harder than the average person, and take that extra, and you get somebody to help you invest it, for example, you could become a millionaire.
Yeah.
It's got to be, that 2,600 hours that nobody works anymore, we're all working 14.
Yeah.
Well, if you just add 500 hours a year and put all that money in an investment or something, it's going to make you really good, well off.
Yeah.
So anybody can do it.
When you look back at your life, do you think you could have achieved all that you have now any other way?
No. I think had I don't, it's hard to say, because I've always, I had some ambition. I didn't even know I had the ambition.
Yeah.
Originally I was going to be, I thought about when I was in college, I would be maybe a political science journalist, and I'm thinking that's very interesting for a guy who flunked out of high school basically and flunked English. I'm going to be a journalist. I never, like, hello. But I found out that really writing in journalism, and for everybody who wants to write it out there, it's really more about the ideas and what's in you. It's not about the grammar. I mean, you can get somebody to help you with the grammar.
Yeah.
So I think if I had gone to stayed in school, maybe I would have gone a different path. It's hard to say.
Yeah. I think like I said previously, I've said it on this platform too many times, that sometimes we plan our lives to go a particular way, but life turns us on a different path, and then we may be beating ourselves, cursing ourselves, regretting for those parts, but then in the end we see that those parts become golden parts, because then they open us to channels and avenues and a realization of ourselves we never knew existed. And it's a beautiful it's a beautiful thing in the end for us to see. So I'd always said here that we should count our challenges as blessings, because they really are. Just that we don't get to see it when we are on the path, but when we are at the far end of the journey and we look back and we count all the blessings and everything that comes with it, we see that truly this part was really fit for us and not any other one. So if I should ask, what word or mantra would you have for our audience today?
What mantra?
Yeah.
I would say take action.
Take action. Good.
Take action. That's really the secret, because every time you take action, you either win or you lose, but you gain because you learn. And
I like the bit that you said, keep failing. If you fail and fail, you want to give up, don't just keep failing, and you get better at it. One
of my things I was going to say quickly, one of my mentors had said, you can't learn how to ride a bicycle in a seminar. You have to go out and get on the bike and ride it and feel the balance and fall down and learn. And that's what all life is. So for all your listeners out there, get on the bicycle and start riding. You know, learn, fall down, get scared, get back up. That's what it's all about.
At this point, is there anything else you'd like to add? If not, we'd like to take your final message and then wrap up.
Buy my book.
Buy his book.
Amazon.
Can we have the titles of your book?
Sure. The title of the book is Suck It Up Cupcake, Stop Screwing Yourself and Get the Life You Want.
Wow. I like that. Those are powerful topics, though. Those are powerful headings for the book. I really like that. And on this note, would like to say a massive thank you, Dennis, for coming on Podcast with Sheila today.
Thank you, Sheila, and thanks for being patient with our little glitch, and hopefully we'll talk again.
It comes with a job, so I understand it. If you've been listening, in, this is season 2, episode 78 of our podcast series, where we bring seasoned guests with inspiring real life stories to share with us. Do not miss out on all these lovely experiences. Subscribe and be notified when a new episode is released. Whilst at it, please drop us a rating. We have a video presentation of this episode on our YouTube channel. Just search for Podcast with Sheila on YouTube and you'd find us. Our prayer for you this week is that you succeed beyond all reasonable doubt. Until we meet again, have a brilliant week.